Today's video, we're going to talk about cleaning business, PPC / marketing techniques / methods that absolutely print money for cleaning businesses, okay? And I can tell you this with confidence because I've used the same exact system myself. So I'm giving you my proven system for when a cleaning business comes to our ad agency, what I'm going to go to immediately because I already know it works. And I'm not a guy who wants to work any harder than I need to get the results. I'm just going to reuse the same thing I used for the last cleaning company. And here I am with a multi-million-dollar ad strategy. I'm giving it to you for free on this video, which I shouldn't be doing because if I'm in a market where I got to compete against you, now I got to compete against myself. So be thankful for the information that I'm giving you. But it's all proven stuff, specifically running ads on YouTube, Facebook, running remarketing ads even for your business, as well as Google search and Microsoft / Bing search ads, all of which I'm going to talk about in this video. And then of that, I'm also going to give you actual results, that is cost per lead, closing rates, all of those type of numbers as well. So you understand just how much this can work and how much money can be made in your business. Of course, the bigger the area that you're in, geographically wise, population wise, the more you can make. You're not going to be able to make this in a town of, you're not going to be able to make $5 million a year in a town of 10,000 people. But, ultimately you can extract all that's available for you to get. You could be the biggest company in your area though, in that town of 10,000, no problem at all. And set up a nice little living for yourself. If you're in a bigger city like LA, you can turn this into a multi-million-dollar enterprise for yourself just using these methods that I'm going to share with you here today. So with that said, before I get into the content though, if you do not know who I am Corey Ziman, owner of Guaranteed PPC, an online advertising agency that specializes in guaranteeing results for their clients. That is, we do not charge our clients management fees until we can get them a certain minimum lift in the profitability of their ads up front, basically in excess of the management fee. We're the only agency out there who does anything like this, which should tell you something about the quality of the information you're receiving on today's video. So with that, getting into it. So what I've done here is I've broken out the marketing or advertising channels here so I can talk about each channel that we do for a typical cleaning company one by one so you understand the strategy for each because it's going to be different for the most part for each. And you got to understand the ads that you have to run, the targeting, and of course the type of place you need to send them to on your site. So I'm going to go into all that starting with the search campaigns. So you're going to run ads on Google search and Bing search. Bing is going to be about 15 to 20 to 25% of the money you're going to make. So you make sure you run your ads there as well. But with this said, what I always do in this market is I'm going to break things out into 3 categories. Buying terms, which is going to be people typing in like cleaning services near me, cleaning service companies, cleaning services like that. They're indicating extremely strongly that they're trying to hire somebody right now. Then I'm going to have a separate set of campaigns targeting these middle terms, cleaning companies, cleaners, stuff like that, where it's not so indicative as to whether or not they want to hire somebody or not, or they're looking for information, doing some basic research, that type of thing. Then I'm going to have a final set of campaigns set up for info terms, people typing in best cleaning companies, top cleaning companies, and the like, so I get that action as well. So for that matter, you're going to run them all. They're all going to convert a little bit differently. What you want to do is you want to set up a unique ad campaign though on top of that. So you have your 3 different tiers here, different campaigns for each, but then you're going to break your service territory into different areas. So any area that's got at least 30,000 in population, you're going to set that up its own set of 3 campaigns as I just described so that that person's city that they're in is going to be in the ad and in the landing page. Why? Because that increases the click-through rate and the conversion rate you're going to get by at least double. Just doing that one little trick because your competition's too damn lazy to do it, or they just don't do it or don't know about it, whatever. It's you stand to gain from this because the user, when they decide which ad to click on, they're just going to say to themselves, which one's the most obvious to click on? They want to know, can you do it? Do you cover their area and can they trust you? And when you make it clear that you cover their area than the other ads have, then you get the click. That's really that simple. Okay? And then what you could expect if you do this, the average between these campaigns or these keywords here should be where you're getting about $10 a lead overall, which is going to be profitable because you could also close those at about 30%. So you're going to be paying about 30%, $30 per new client targeting these terms and doing things the way that I just described there if you have the right landing page set up to go with it, which is frankly 70% of the equation. And I'm going to talk about that here in a second, but the closing rate can be 30% no problem if you have the right sales process where when a lead comes in, you got to be able to respond within 15 minutes. And if you can't do that because you're busy, set up a software called Call Drip for your landing pages so that when somebody fills out the form, you immediately get a call to your phone and it says, John Smith just filled out the form, press 1 to contact John Smith, and you call them and it forces you to talk to every form lead within 15 minutes. That, and then of course the phone calls, don't miss any phone calls, understanding that the person answering the phone can't be like, hey, okay, yeah, we'll be out tomorrow up there. How you answer the phone matters a lot. Call the top cleaning company in the country in terms of sales. Listen to how they handle and answer the phone. So those are the two main things that you would need to know. If you want to add some extra icing on the cake here, set up your contact forms so when somebody fills out the form, you get an auto SMS text message sent out to them and approach them that way. Same thing with the email. Immediately send out an email. You can get a 30% closing rate if you do this stuff, whereas the average person's going to get 15. To get a $10 cost per lead like that, you need a good landing page. And here's the basic format for the landing page that you want that's going to be able to convert 20 to 45% of the people that click, which is how you get to a $10 cost per lead, okay? Your $10 cost per lead, by the way, will come not immediately, but once you set up your ads and landing pages like I mentioned, and you give your ads sometimes time to get broken in. So you have higher quality scores, higher ad rank. But certainly you will get that because Google's going to see your ads as better because you have the city name and the keyword. You also are going to have, and I didn't mention it yet, the keyword in the ad as well. So if they type in cleaning services in Dallas, Texas, you don't have an ad that says cleaning service. You have an ad that literally says cleaning service in Dallas, Texas, #1 in Dallas, Texas. Or if they're typing in kitchen cleaning companies, you're going to have an ad that says kitchen cleaning companies. They call this the single keyword ad group model of setting up campaigns, which people are saying is outdated. It's not. I love that they're saying that because I get to use it all for myself in the markets that we're in. So you have the keyword in the ad, the city in the ad, and then the landing page should have the keyword on the headline. That is, if they're searching for something significantly different. So if they're looking for kitchen cleaners, your headline on your landing page says kitchen cleaners, and it says the name of the city that was on the ad. So kitchen cleaners in, and then the name of the area or city that the user's in specifically. With all that, you're going to get that cost per lead. Now, as far as the landing page goes, you will lay it out like this. So your logo is going to go top left. You can't have a shitty logo either. If you have a crappy logo that you paid $5 for on Fiverr, you need to go and hire an actual legitimate logo design company that's design companies' logos that are doing multi-millions in sales at least. Because the first thing they look at on the page is the logo, and if it looks like shit, they're going to think you are shit. There's no way around that, and you can't dispute that. There's plenty of studies that back that up. Then you're going to have the telephone number top right. Your landing page is going to have an area code that matches the user's area code every time. Why? Because that increases the conversion rate another 15-20%. Ideally, it would say the area code and the prefix would match the location if you want the most results, but the area code's the most important thing. And then you're gonna have your time in business right between the phone number and the logo. If you've been in business for at least 10 years, I would put that there. Otherwise, I would just say best in Chicago or whatever, the name of your metro that you're in. Then you're gonna have your headline and your call to action right directly underneath the headline. So I'm going to have the headline, sub-headline, or bullet point list saying why we're the best underneath the headline. It's your choice, really. And then the button that says contact us. They click that button. There's a light box that pops up. Now take it into a different page because that converts the best. And then on the top part of the page, you're going to have an autoplay video that shows your staff in a customer's location cleaning up. The staff should have the logo on your shirt. Why? Because this shows you're a professional organization. Shitbag companies, no offense to anybody watching this, are companies that have their cleaning people show up with no logo on their shirt. And, frankly, the consumer, as far as they're concerned, yes, they want a cheap price. They worry about who they hire more than the price. They don't want someone coming in to steal. They don't want somebody coming in to do a shitty job. So the best way you convey that you aren't that is show that you have pride in your company, that you hire and you give your employees high quality uniforms and you show them cleaning. And that takes care of that anxiety pretty much right away for the most part. especially when you consider directly below that top part here, you have your average review score on Google, Yelp, Facebook, or wherever you have the reviews that you're scored highly at, because that's the number one way that people know you're a quality company. If you're over a 4, I would list your stars there for each one. If they click on the stars, you take them to the actual profile where they can verify you actually have that rating. Because if they click on it, that's what they're expecting, so don't force them to not leave. A lot of people try to do that, and that's a mistake. Furthermore, by the way, if you have an A+ BBB rating, I would pay for that. It's worth it 100% to do that and put that on your landing page. You can put that pretty much wherever you want towards the middle of the page to get a bit more conversion rate. But the section after the average review rating itself should be the Our Process section. So you should have an image itself or a video where the thumbnail on the video shows one of your staff like cleaning a window or cleaning some curtains or something like that. And then they can watch a video, a short video, and if you do a video, how we do our thing in terms of the cleaning. We come in, we assess, we actually look at what we need to do in terms of what's the most dirty, blah, 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 whatever you're going to do. Make it sound fancy. Have some text next to it that explains what you're going to get by watching this video. If you don't have a video, just put an image there and then explain what your process is in text form. Why? Because they want to know why you're different. Then you're going to have a section that's going to list the types of cleaning you do. And I usually do a 3x2 pattern grid where I'll show, it's like basically like we do kitchens, we do garages, we do steps. And what it does is it basically just shows the consumer you do it all, okay? Then you're going to have a section that says why us. Okay, now this is different than the Our Process section. It actually literally has a bullet point list that says other companies don't wash your backsplashes, or they don't clean underneath appliances and stuff like that. And you're going to list that stuff. I usually list that in a bullet point list with a form on the right-hand side. So as they're reading it, they're asked to fill out the form at the same time. That's what we found converts the best. Not just for this, but a lot of other local service companies as well. If they've gotten that far on the page, they want to know why you're better specifically. And then after that section, if they still aren't convinced, they go to the next section, which is the testimonial section. You're going to pay, if you need to, at least 4 customers to give you an iPhone testimonial, which a lot of people bellyache and say they can't do it. It's too hard. It's hard getting video testimonials for a business like ours in the marketing space because nobody wants to talk about the results. There is no excuse why you can't get somebody to talk about how much they liked the cleaning that you did. It's not a proprietary space. There's just no excuse for it. Get at least 4 of those so you can put those on your landing page because people don't believe testimonials anymore. But they will believe a video review because it's hard to fake that. So that's the best way to convey trust because, again, the main reasons why they're there and what they're there to find out is, can you do it? You cover their area and can they trust you? And the more stuff you say that's valid and important to them that gets them to trust you, the higher your conversion rate is going to be. Another valid way to do it. Then you got your final section at the end, which is the About Us. You're going to have your picture on the map where you're physically located so they can see you're not just a fly-by-night company, the address, the telephone number, your legal corporate name, your licensee number, so on and so forth there, which I don't know if in the cleaning space you have the license number. I forgot specifically on that. For other contractors, local home service companies would put the contractor number there. If you have it, you're going to put it there. For that matter, that's basically the formula, okay? Not to say that this is the absolute best way to do it, but if you use that, it's going to basically just work. And you're going to get a 20, 30, 40% conversion rate from click to lead. Lead being form filler, phone call. That'll get you to the $10 cost per lead, okay? Now that's the search campaigns. Now, to support the search campaigns, you got the remarketing. The remarketing gets all the people that clicked on your ad that maybe even turned into a lead to close at the highest rate possible. It also supports your 30% closing rates. A lot of people don't look at remarketing where you market to people after they've been to the site as a way to increase closing rates, but that's the primary value in a market like this. And the way that you do that is you create a video ad at a customer's location, which you probably already got from your landing page, if you followed my instructions, that show your staff cleaning and so forth, and them doing a good job, and really just, the staff is working really hard, they look determined. And you have a voiceover on that video that says, our staff really pays attention to the details. That's why we get such good ratings at XYZ Cleaning Company. Other cleaning companies, they really don't focus on the details like we do. And the reason for that is simple. They don't have pride in their work. And you just talk about how you're obsessed with what you do. And that's the formula that I would recommend to you. And that's what we did for the cleaning company that we worked with. And I would recommend again to any other cleaning company that came to our agency. So you have that video ad running and you run that on the Google Display Network, which you can do through a Drive Conversions campaign, YouTube campaign on and through your Google Ads account. You can also run, you could run that same video ad, Twitter ads. You could run it any other place where you could find to run it online, where you could run remarketing audiences, you would want to run it. For the most part though, you're going to run it on YouTube, which that'll get you on YouTube itself. And then also if it's a Drive Conversions campaign on the display network itself, which covers millions of websites out there. For people that are on Twitter, you want them to see it there. And then on Facebook, same thing. Then you're going to have banner ads. For banner ads itself, you're going to have these run on the Google Display Network specifically. And you're going to have a banner ad set, make them in a bunch of different sizes, at least 7 different sizes, with your testimonials on it, written testimonials. You're gonna have a written testimonial. It has a testimonial, stars underneath it, the person's headshot to make it as believable as possible. When they click on the ad, it takes them to a full page on your site with all your other customer testimonials on it. Do 2 or 3 of those ads. Then you come out with some banner ads with your review scores on it. Rated 4.7 on Google. When they click on that, you take them to Google to verify it again. And you make some ads like that. Then you're gonna make an ad that I call a cleanup ad. Basically, if most of these people are just gonna be teetering on the edge, if you will, you're going to run a monthly special ad. So every month you're going to have a new ad. So February special, we're offering 20% off on monthly plans. Then March comes around. March only special, blah, blah, blah. And it gets people that are procrastinating to just pull the trigger finally already. You can have the same exact offer every single month. You just have a different, you say, oh, it's this March special, April special. And when you say April special, it's the April 1st, April Fool's Day, reason for the thing. Because when you tie it to a event, holiday, it's more believable that it's just really exclusively that time of the month. So that gets a bunch of people that are just teetering to just finally fall off the fence. And you run all those ads in conjunction with one another to get your closing rate up on the leads that you're driving to the site that are in market for cleaning services already. You're also going to run some text ads. You can run a demand gen campaign with an image, some text itself as well. You can run on the display network a responsive display ad as well. I would run all of this. As far as when it comes to remarketing, the more ads you have, the more places you run them, the better your results are going to be in terms of increasing your closing rates. For that matter though, you could just do the basics here and get to that closing rate that I mentioned just by doing what I mentioned here, which for most people that's already a ton. But you could set this up for $1,000, $2,000 and you're done. And you're now going to increase your closing rate 25% forever. So with that said, that's what you do as far as remarketing. Now, in terms of getting into YouTube demand gen, so there's a lot of other details as I can't really go into detail on this video about all the mechanics behind setting up a YouTube campaign the right way, a demand gen campaign the right way to go after new prospects and so on and so forth. So what I recommend you do is just either, or should I say, watch the other videos I have on this channel about these specific topics. You can search for relevant videos on my channel homepage in the search bar. I've got thousands of videos that I've made now since I've started the channel a long time ago. Also, you should subscribe to the channel because all the stuff's changing all the time and you want to get the latest and greatest, you'll get it on this channel. I spend 40 hours a week doing ad strategy at our firm to learn what works, and then I share it on the weekends and whatnot on this channel to give you relevant information. So in terms of getting information straight from the source, you're not going to find a better source of information than what you can find on this channel. You should also check out my blog on my site at guaranteedppc.com/blog if you haven't already. That blog has all the information that we use to get results for clients on a guaranteed basis at our firm, and you can use it for yourself just by checking that out. If you like the channel, you're going to like the blog as well. For that matter, if you have any questions about your cleaning business, what you should do, anything that was unclear, any other marketing related question really, you can always leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a question or comment on this channel, usually within 24 hours time. So as far as the YouTube and demand gen campaigns, so I talked about remarketing already. I'm not talking about that here anymore. I'm now talking about first click. So you're going after people who've never seen or heard of you before, or at least never been to your website. And what you're going to do, and a lot of people are going to say this strategy's bunk, but strategies that people don't have the cojones to do are the strategies that make money. Because if everybody did them, they wouldn't make any money. So what you do is you target people that are high-end prospects for you, that are potentially worth lots of money to your company, with an ad for a free cleaning itself, which you may, I know you're turning off right now, a lot of you guys, free cleaning, no way I'm doing that. The reality is, when you try to interrupt somebody that's watching a video doing something like that, unless you come heavy, they're not going to give you the time of day to where they care, ultimately. And as far as free offers go, yeah, most people don't like to make them work because you get a bunch of freeloaders. Well, the answer to that is you don't target people who are likely just to be freeloaders. And you may say, well, only freeloaders want free stuff. No, that is absolutely not the case. Even rich people like free shit, okay, or discounted shit. That's just, and how do you think they got rich in the first place? I mean, really. So what you do is you offer something incredible to a customer that you know is going to be worth a lot, and then you just pay for the free offer or whatever you're giving them with the revenue you're going to get. It's really that simple. It just comes down to math, basic math. You offer the high-end part of your city. We're talking the top 5% of the income demographic. So if you literally, like in a city like LA, you could pick out the neighborhoods where the top 5% income live, and then you're going to run your YouTube and demand gen campaign just exclusively there and there alone. And if you want to get more specific, female 35 to 45 is the sweet spot that we found, and I would recommend highly starting out there and then start branching out from there once that's working, and see how far you can take it for your own business. Ultimately, this is perfect because somebody who's in this demographic doesn't need a free cleaning. They got plenty of money. It's good enough where they say, damn, if they're offering a free cleaning, they really must have a good cleaning service. I want to just try them out and see if they're better than the current guy that we have, or just in general. And what you can end up doing is you could get, like we did in our case, about 1 in 3.5 of the people that are getting the free cleaning, we could get them to upsell to a monthly subscription of the cleaning, where we would come in at least once a month, if not twice a month, if not 4 times a month for the cleaning itself on schedule. And the way that you do this, by the way, is you give them the free cleaning, you come in, then at the end you say, how do you like it? Okay, great. We're running a special this month for the month of March where we're offering 20% off our subscription or our weekly cleaning subscriptions. If you want to sign up now, it'll be 20% off. You're locked in for the 20% off forever. Your price is never going to go up. But if you want to use this for, come back after this particular time, we can offer the 20% off for you. And it puts them on the spot, and you can get like 1 in 3, 1 in 4, if you're doing your sales process right, to actually jump on that. And then, of course, your revenue from that, given you got a rich person who can easily afford to technically pay, assuming your service is good and you're delivering a good service continuously throughout the relationship, that's easily going to pay for the cost of offering the free service itself to begin with, and the advertising it took to get it. Ultimately, we were paying about $30 a lead. Last time I checked our campaign for this client on YouTube and demand gen campaigns through your Google Ads account, and we're closing about 80% of those into a free, that actually called to fill out the form, where we booked it and we were able to deliver it. So we're talking about paying around $100 to $125 for a new customer that is in a prime demographic that we would want, which is these rich people that basically just want to buy quality service. And, obviously this won't work if you don't have a quality service. If you're trying to sell to cheap people, which I can't blame people for doing that. There's a part of the market that's for that. But I would let you know that if I was running this business, I'm going to try to go after the premium buyer in the market, charge a little bit more, and just offer higher salaries to our cleaning people so I can force them to follow certain procedures that lead to good results. Therefore, I can give it away for free to the people who want good results, and I could just clean up that way. I could just run my ad to that entire demographic, itself. While they're watching any kind of video on YouTube, it's going to bring in the leads I need. They're going to try it, they're going to see it works, and they're going to go with us. It's much better and easier that way than to sell based upon price, because there's so many people that are buying on price. You're not unique, and there's always someone going to sell for cheaper. So it's not even really a position at all to say you're the cheapest, because At least in this market, there's always cheaper. But anyway, that's the formula, the secret formula right here for running a display campaign in this space that I found works better than anything else that we tried, because we did try a couple other things. On Facebook, you're going to do the same thing you did on YouTube and with demand gen campaigns. You're just going to target top 5%, female 35 to 45. If you can get that to work, by the way, I would go 45 to 55, 55 to 65, and start working your way up the chain, but staying at the top 5% income demographic. And if you make all that work, maybe you go the top 10% income demographic and go there. But anymore, for the most part, people that have money for cleaning services, they're already in the top 10% of income demographic that are going to pay consistently, not complain, give you good reviews, and so forth. Because that's basically 6 figures, right? Someone who has 6 figures don't have time to clean their own stuff. At the end of the day, it's worth it to just have people pay to do it. Versus if you're selling to people underneath that income demographic, you're gonna constantly struggle to get them to keep paying. They might do it, when they're, one-time services. You don't want that business. You don't want to build your business off the backs of a customer like that. I mean, no offense to anybody, but ultimately, there's no middle class in America anymore. There's rich and there's poor, pretty much. There's people working class struggling to pay their bills, and then there's the top 10% who has money more than ever, of which to get their stuff cleaned by somebody. If they knew they could get somebody they could trust and that would do a good job and not be, most cleaning companies, and I've been there, hire them, they do a shitty job or they don't show up on time. If you actually have a good service that you can deliver, a good quality service, I'm going to go with them, and as long as you don't cause me hassle and I know you're going to do consistently a good job, and I'm going to switch if you show me that you could do that, whereas the company I'm working with now isn't that. So all you're doing is giving yourself a shot at getting that business. So you have to be technically better, but if you're not, just work on being better and then start marketing to the rich people you actually want to do business with that have all the money. It's the only way I would ever recommend anybody to go in this business personally. But you do your thing. Otherwise, you could sell using YouTube and all that, the cheapest price. You could say $29 cleans all day, all night. You could go that route with it, but you're going to get people who are buying on price. They're not buying on quality, and they're going to be more likely to leave you a bad review, and just know that going in. You could also make that work. You could say March only, $29 per room cleaning charge, and get a bunch of business that way as well, if you know what you're doing in terms of your targeting and the structure of your ad and so forth, which, like I said, I've got tons of videos about how to run video ads successfully and demand gen campaigns successfully on this channel. So you can watch those, or you could reach out to our firm and we'll set it up for you. If you reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com, I'll let you know what we could do as far as a campaign, what it would cost, what we can guarantee for you. We also can sell you the ad templates. We've worked in your niche market before, which in this space, if you're a cleaner, yes, we have. We'll sell you the winning ad templates, the ads, the landing pages, the campaign templates, all of it I'm talking about here. You get it and you use it for your own self, and you pay a one-time fee for that. It's several grand that we charge for that, but it's worth it, obviously. Otherwise, you hire us for ongoing management for that matter, which if you're over a certain amount of revenue, that's the better move versus just getting your hands on the template and try to run with it. We also offer consulting. Personally, you can work with me personally I could work with you, put your ads together, or you just ask me for advice, coaching/consulting, and do that on a 30-minute basis where you can hire me for 30 minutes and I can tell you what to do. If you're stuck where you're at in terms of revenue, that's the perfect way to get unstuck, because I can look at all your stuff from your sales process to your pricing, all of it, and tell you how to get back on track again with what you're doing. But with that said, that pretty much spells it out. Search campaigns are going to be where you start because it makes the most money, the quickest, the easiest. Then you're going to have the remarketing going pretty much at the same time as you set this up, because this supports this. And then you start, when you got this going and you got money, you're going to start dumping your money into this. Do your split testing to make sure your lead cost is where it needs to be and your sales process where it needs to be. And you can really start gobbling up greater and greater chunks of the market where you live, because you just are slowly going to acquire all those customers that way. Because even the people that are working with companies, you can get those contracts away from them easily with this model here, which we were actually doing. which is why I recommended it to you. You're not just struggling to get people who normally wouldn't have hired a cleaning company, but because you offered it for $29 a room, they are going to go with you. You're getting people that are the good buyers of your competitors, and you're stealing them away, the ones that you actually want. Yes, not doing it in the ideal way that you would like, where they would just come and pay and say, hey, take my money. But you're doing it in a way that matters to them, which is you're going to prove that you're better than them physically. And then therefore they will believe it. So with that said, I'm going to wrap it up with that. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one.
Remember when I said landing page was important during this video? Well, this video here tells you how to do it.